G'day folks, I hope you have a wonderful day. My name is Dave and welcome to Urban Gardening, and today we're talking about garlic. It's recommended to get the garlic in the ground at the tail end of summer and harvest close to the winter. Well, will it grow in summer? Garlic is really something that is a must in many cuisines. I couldn't cook a meal without garlic. I could and I do, but it smells good unless you're going out for a date. I don't recommend it. But if you want to have a nice hearty meal and enjoy the taste of garlic, yeah, many cuisines depend on its flavor. Pretty much the clove of garlic will just do its thing when you place it in the ground and kind of grow the roots and shoots and grow. Not always, especially in situations where you put too much water, when the ground is too moist. So what it does, it actually rots and shoots don't appear. Is there a better way? Is there a way you can give your garlic a good fighting chance? Let's figure it out. Usually when you buy a garlic from a supermarket or market, you get a garlic that doesn't have any roots whatsoever. They cleverly clean up every single root out of it. So pretty much nothing on it. So how are you going to grow garlic bought from store that doesn't have any roots? This is what we came up with. Take the garlic and place it on top of the cup that barely touches the water. So what that does, it stimulates the root growth. And if you can see, if you can just kind of figure it out, a garlic roots. So they started. Don't be afraid of that. That is just a discoloration of the garlic, and what I recommend is change water. If you're actually placing in the cup like this, probably the good idea is to change the water regularly. The bulbs are still firm, there's no sliminess on it, so it's still pretty decent and pretty good. Barely touching the water. Change the water regularly, 1 or 2 days max, and roots will start appearing. I have an example of it. It's actually in a bottleneck, believe it or not. It grows in a bottleneck, and you can see there are the roots appearing right there. There's more right on this side. I hope you can see that zoomed nicely. So you're actually giving your garlic a great chance and great starting point by planting it in mid-summertime. And chances of failure, they're minimal. Absolutely minimal. You can fail if you put too much water that actually floods the garlic. When you actually put in the garlic in that cup, don't do anything to it. Just plant it on top, leave the garlic completely intact. What cloves do, they actually separate each other from each other. So for some unknown reason, they just go, nah, I'm not friend with you anymore. I'm out on my own. It is good to have it around your garden. It will protect your other plants, and again, the benefits of it, amazing. I strongly recommend you grow your own garlic in your own yard or on your own balcony. The garlic actually is growing in my window. No direct sunlight except the window light, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Let's plant it. So as I mentioned, the recommendation for garlic is to plant it tail end of the summer and expect it all the way down to leading end of the winter. So I went against the grain and I have tried to figure out what is the way and how you can possibly plant the garlic midsummer in the hottest time of the year, especially in Australia, and have a successful garlic harvest at the end of the season. This is a 34 litre storage container, and the container itself is absolutely sturdy, 79 centimeters by 39 centimeters width and length, and 15.5 centimeters in height. The opportunity to have 4 rows of garlic. When you look at it, this is how much space you need for garlic. There you go. That's how much space you need for it. You can have one here, move it across, have one here, move it across, have one here. So pretty much this will give you the good example of where you can plant your garlic, and you can possibly plant your garlic half side on this side and have something else, which I had a plan to actually put some bok choy on this side. I'll show you how that's done, but let's see how it goes. What I've done here, I drilled 2 holes, one here and one on this side for soil drainage. I don't want soil to be wet, but I want it to be moist and damp. So I don't want to drill too many holes, and I want water to drain slowly. So these 2 holes will do the trick. So if you have your container placed on uneven ground, so if you drill these 2 holes on opposite directions, you will have drainage guaranteed. More than 2 holes in there, you will drain the soil very quickly, and you'll have to keep watering more often. That's my opinion. Again, I'll probably have a lot of comments and a lot of criticism about it, but it works for me. 2 holes right here and right there. And we will fill up this to the top, so it means about 15 centimeters of soil, which is, in my opinion, exactly enough or perfectly enough for garlic to grow in a healthy way. So let's put some soil in there and let's separate this bulb and plant. So well, here we go. Here we have 3 types of soil. One is the compost, one is the potting mix, and this is cocoa peat. So I'm using 25% potting mix, 25% cocoa peat, and 50% of the compost material. I just want to give you a word of advice. When you're using bought and purchased compost mix or potting mix, make sure when you open the bag to water it before you're using it, and during the process of transferring from your bag to the pot or to the container, make sure you're watering in between. Make sure that your soil is moist so it doesn't raise any fungus if there's microorganisms and things like that, so to keep them contained within the soil rather than being airborne, so you can breathe and have fungal lung infection. So again, at the end, make sure either you use gloves or wash your hands with antibacterial after you use this soil. But again, I would not use antibacterial before you finish your planting, because it might interfere with the soil in itself, or it can interfere with your seeds or plants. While I'm thoroughly mixing the soil on the other side, I want to show you what happened and how I actually got to this stage. So I showed you the bulb with barely touching the water, right? So I let it for about 7 days. So within 7 days, roots started developing, and they were about 2 centimeters. So I have mixed a little bit of soil and a little bit of water, so virtually equal parts, 50% water, 50% soil. Instead of keeping the roots only in water, I gave it a little soil just to see how it works. It works perfectly well. The bulb is sitting on top and the roots are touching the water on about 50% ratio. So I haven't drained the water. I let it sit in there, and this is the first time I'm taking the bulb out just to see how the root's going. Let us see how that works and how that looks like. Look at those roots. Look at those roots. Unbelievable. No issues, no dramas, no obvious damage to it. They're all white and nicely, beautifully developed so far, ready to be planted. So as I said, you put about so much water, soil in there, and you flood it all the way through, just so that water can actually be on the surface of that soil, and then you leave your garlic in there. To finish it off, just loose type of soil on top again. If you water it from the top, you'll encourage concentration of roots on the top, but if you water it from the bottom, so the roots will actually try to look for the water source and develop the healthier root system. Now I'm going to water it up on top a little bit, just so I can start planting these bulbs. So that's pretty much the setup for the bed. So here we go. These are our bulbs, and let's separate them. See how that works. Nice root system right in here. So some of them, they didn't develop yet. They're pretty much entangled, and you got to separate them so you don't damage the full system. So you have to leave roots where they belong. Let me wash it up so we can actually see a little bit better. Yeah, so we got that washed up. So now you can start separating, because you have better understanding where the roots are heading, and they're easier to work with. Tip number one, wash your roots. So there you go. There's our first one. Okay, now we'll have to separate these two bulbs gently. They're nice and firm. They're not soggy whatsoever. They still hold their firmness very, very decently. And now this is something that I didn't expect. So pretty much, really interesting. They fused together. They fused. So these ones that didn't shoot up, we're gonna put them back in that soil later on. So we'll give them a little bit more chance for survival. I'm gonna utilize this here to give you kind of an idea of how much space is needed for the garlic to grow. So we'll get that going, and I will probably put it till the second knuckle. So right there, make it nice and wide. And we'll go back to covering it up. I missed the first garlic. So now we're gonna get that from there to the next one. So we want it right there. Again, second knuckle in there. So we'll make it nice and comfy. Just sit in here. Good, here we go, the next one. Probably we'll add some more soil later on if this goes, starts sinking under the water. And we go to the next one. So that one there, coming to this point, Here we go. Next one here. Second knuckle. Boom, Bob's your uncle. Yeah, if you need to add more soil, add more soil. When you add water, it will definitely sink even further. Picking up your own garlic, and you know exactly where it came from, you know exactly what you put in, and you know that you're taking care of that plant. Give it a shot. You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain, and it doesn't cost much. Container, it costs $6 at Bunnings. Garlic, $3. Soil will cost you about $3. A whole bag of soil is $3. That's pretty much our garlic system. So yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more soil on top of it. And this is our first garlic of the year. Now, the hardest part of all, wait and see. So I'm gonna assimilate this garlic in the shade for a while, probably about 2-3 days, give it a nice shady area. And as that other part coming in, as the other bulb is progressing, I'll keep adding more to it. So you will have the the garlic in the different stages. The other option is probably add some bok choy or something that is pest prone, so you can actually have that garlic protection. If you have any comments or ideas, what can we put on this side, let me know. I might possibly put some capsicums because I have a lot of seedlings. Give me an idea. Put some comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you would like to see on this side to grow, and see how that interacts with the garlic on this side. And also testing the second part of it, checking out how it's interacting with the container itself. So if we can get something on this side that has a lot of potential and a lot of views in your home, I guess that's probably something that we will possibly do. Well, I've mentioned that earlier about making concoction for the rest of the bulbs. Well, pretty much fill it up with it until you start seeing the water on top. Mix it up nicely. What you want to see is some firmness. So some firmness that can hold the bulb up on top, but also to have water all the way through. So here we go. So that's about it. That's pretty much what we do with the rest of the garlic. We have another one happening right here. And as I said, please let me know what you want to see grow with the garlic in the same container.